What do we think this weekend? Where shall we begin?
Well, we can start from La Noia.
Man, that's
Tutto il resto è noia.
oh my God. That's right, Gaetano.
Have you
And
ever
maybe then we can go up.
and get better?
Yeah, and get better.
Have you ever seen a coach come out and say it's the most boring game he's ever been a part of?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Fonseca said that
Yeah.
after the Milan Juventus game.
Yeah, I heard that. By the way, did you fall asleep at the game?
Well, I was kind of all pumped up and over caffeinated because I was sitting right there. Actually, Mike made sure I got one of the top spots on the vintage.
I put a
Serie
traffic
A.
cone where you're supposed to sit.
Yeah, so
So you
and
were
I
not
was
bored.
very nervous, and I was about to jump off my chair. God forbid AC Milan scored, but
Did they ever get close to scoring?
You don't have
That's
to
the
jump very
problem.
far.
That's the problem. Since you guys are the stats guys, I want to bring one of the stats that I need you guys to look into it.
Tell
Okay,
me.
since you guys are the youth that went to school and you know all
Okay, tell
of
me.
those stats. The stats that I want you to check is how many times the ball gets passed backwards. Even in fase offensiva, we say in Italian, during the offensive, stage,
Transition,
transition. Why a lot of balls have been passed back? The vast majority of the ball, and there's the possession. We have the possession. I hate that nonsense. I wanted to know why a lot of those passing back when it's not even necessary. I understand you're under pressure, but I see players, top quality players, that they can take the defensive guy one-on-one. They always pass the ball back.
I think it's
that.
to not lose the ball.
I really hate it.
That's what it's become.
You gotta move the.
I hate it.
It's become not take as much of a risk, and I think that was the story of this game. It was Milan and Fonseca thinking to themselves, if they lose this game, he's probably gone. If you lose this match. For me, even a tie doesn't do anything, doesn't move the needle. Milan are still 10 points behind first place Napoli. They're still far from the Champions League race. They have the game in hand, but it's against Bologna, so nothing is certain on that aspect. And then from Juventus, I think also Thiago Motta, he said, I'm away from home. I have no striker. I'm missing so many players. A tie for me is fine. And look at the last minute of the game. I mean, I've never seen a team with zero urgency to try to score a goal. The only time Di Gregorio got dirty was in the 93rd minute when Theo Hernandez made that header. But besides that, it was a whole lot of nothing from this. I don't know if it's international break. I don't know what it says about the teams. But it was not a great showing. What'd you think, Mike?
Yeah,
You're making
it was
a
tough.
smirk
I
face.
mean, I'm not too surprised that Milan played a little bit nervy, only because of Fonseca's job was on the line.
No, don't give me that nonsense, Mike.
I
Stop
mean, that's
with that.
definitely part of it.
Never. Fonseca's job has never been on the line. You guys are making up all of this nonsense. Nobody has ever said that Fonseca win or lose or tie will lose his job. This is BS.
I'm not saying he would lose his job if he lost the game.
No.
But it was definitely nervy on one side of it.
No, Fonseca's job has never been on the line. I think that Fonseca prepared the game for AC Milan to be a lot more offensive, but they did not execute what he told them during practice.
Why?
That's what the point.
You just made up a whole scenario when
No,
mine
I'm
was
telling
more
you.
likely.
I'm telling you. Because I'll tell you, no, the reason, now you said why. The reason is that the next game is sitting down the Senators. Okay? He's sitting down Leao, and he's sitting down other people that they were supposed to be the difference maker. Leao went only 2 times down the line, and he took the defender 1-to-1. That's it.
I don't think you could save any player from that game, though. Is there anyone that we came out of this match saying, wow, they were
Fofana
amazing?
was the best player. It was
a lot of
back and
balls
forth,
back
the
in the midfield.
top box to box, and he did a spectacular job.
When they show who was the best player of the match, they had Chow over there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
He
the
was
only
one of
player
the
they had.
contenders.
From
That's right.
Juventus,
Yeah.
Thuram. I think Thuram, he was good at winning the balls back. But again, nothing that I take away from this game.
Horror story.
But let me tell you something.
Oh, boy.
You ready to give up on Fonseca or no?
Never.
Okay, so I'll tell you. Let me tell you something.
It's like Home Alone. You know, that's
The only reason why Fonseca is there is because he beat Real Madrid. Otherwise, he would have been
sure.
out
And Inter.
already.
Exactly.
And Inter.
Okay, let me tell you something else. On that game on Sunday, what was he waiting for to put Abraham? What was he waiting for to put Camarda? What was he waiting for? Nobody was doing anything. That's Fonseca. What kind of coach is that? Okay, why didn't he do anything?
Against the Juventus that had nobody.
Okay, and I tell you another thing now. You have half of the team, half of your team is above the quality of most of the Serie A. Magnan, Theo Hernandez, Leao, Pulisic,
But he didn't
Morata.
start the game. He only played 15 minutes.
Okay? Why did he play 15 minutes? That's a Fonseca. I ask
Who?
you again. Why did he play
Who?
15
Because
minutes?
he was
Pulisic
involved in all American
Pulisic wasn't,
international
fit
play.
to play from the
He wasn't
beginning.
really- He
Tutto
played.
americano.
Yeah, he came in.
He came in.
He came in, but it
yeah.
was
He wasn't fit.
it was
He wasn't fit to
overused
play.
by the international.
Come on, give me a
Couldn't play
break.
90 minutes.
Okay,
Anyway,
let me answer your question.
That's all Fonseca.
Okay, that's all Fonseca.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, for the records,
And-
those four guys over here, they
When-
hate AC
I
Milan
didn't
with a
do
passion.
anything.
And when
With a
you-
passion.
Stop.
But
when
it's
you-
good.
no,
It's
no,
good. I love that. I love that.
I'm not hating.
I live
I don't
for
hate
this. We
AC
live for
Milan.
this.
What's the matter with you?
You know what? This is what
I'm
we
telling
need to
you
get
that
back up.
Fonseca is a coach for a small team. He's not for a
He,
big
he
team.
complimented Milan. He
Oh
said,
well,
I'm telling you, they got 5 or 6 players. above-
Fonseca is a coach for small team.
Yeah.
Oh wow! What about Thiago Motta, the Panettone brand? Listen,
talking about AC Milan right now.
Motta can be coaching Panettone.
We're talking about Fonseca.
instead
when
of
we play
Juventus.
Juventus, then we'll talk about that.
You see that? Okay,
talk about
that.
okay.
If
I'll
we
tell you why
focus
you're
on
wrong.
Milan.
I'll
Okay.
tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, Fonseca, he's got a squad and he's got a group that is not really. It hasn't been put it under the knife. I said it's either you do this
What?
or you out. I'll tell you the reasons why. Fonseca is afraid. The only thing that I ever did just to say, please, if you can listen to me. You named Abraham, you named
I didn't-
Pulisic.
I didn't
that
name
is
Abraham.
why didn't do this.
Oh, to put him
I
in.
want
Yeah, yeah.
Fonseca to forget about those guys. I want him to put Camarda. He's the man that I wanted to see.
I said Camarda.
No, you didn't.
I said Camarda.
No, you did not.
I said
You said
Abraham and
Camarda.
Camarda.
He said it.
Yes,
Oh,
I did.
I take it back. So
okay, hold on. But we're going all over the place right now. The Camarda is not going to save Milan's entire
who
season.
told you that?
One player is not going to save your
A
season.
16-year-old
Honestly,
player.
this week when I watched Milan play, it's the first time that I said you have to change Fonseca because
Yeah.
the team doesn't know and
Father and
genuinely
son, father and
no,
son.
you know why I'm disappointed because Milan is a lot better than the performances that they're putting out right now. And you know what's scary to me? I don't think Milan know what their identity is. They want to be in an ideal world, a team that presses high and that gets onto the football. And you see how many numbers they have forward, but they're not actually pressing. The guys are not running. They're not putting pressure on the ball. With one pass, with one ball, Juventus broke a line of like 4 or 5 Milan players at times. To me, that's a scary sign. He still doesn't realize that Milan's best way to play is sitting in and waiting. So they do this half press, and they're getting completely killed through their midfield. There's no existence.
I don't
The
know
best-
which game you were watching, but the game that I was watching, I see Motta parking the bus over there and waiting for AC Milan to make a mistake.
But
AC
those two,
Milan,
hold on.
It's not
What I
saying
just said
that.
and what you
It's
just said
opposite.
are not mutually exclusive.
What are you talking about? It.
I was talking about Milan and the way that they played.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We were forced into that kind of a game because Motta parked the bus. He did ha fatto il catenacciaro. In Italian means locksmith.
But we're talking about Milan.
He's not saying about
we're
the
talking about
defense.
Milan and the way that they played.
They only did not really go deep enough to take a chance because Motta did not allow them. But Motta did not really play the game to win itself. Motta played for the tie. We did not play for the tie. We were forced into the tie. Playing for the tie, it's a different story that actually tied the game.
I don't
with
know
what
what you're
you
talking
have.
about Juventus. We're talking about AC Milan.
That's what I'm
okay?
saying. AC Milan played Juventus. I'm trying to tell you.
What's the problem with AC Milan?
That
They
is-
got 5-6 players that are above the rest of the Serie A players. What's the problem?
The problem that we scored a lot more than Juventus during the past few games. You guys are the master of the ties, okay? Even though I'm not wearing, you should be wearing ties instead of the soccer jersey. You only good at tying the game. And all of this criticism about Allegri, I can stand Allegri.
What are you talking about?
Right, Mike?
Allegri?
Motta is not really the upgrade
He
that
doesn't wanna
Juventus.
answer your question.
Motta is not really the
All right,
upgrade
Pete,
that you guys were hoping
let me
for.
ask you about Milan.
Okay?
How I
On
see
the
it.
topic of
Just you
Milan
should have
and not
mirrors.
Juventus.
Right, Mike? They have no mirrors, those guys, to look at themselves on their face.
Milan,
Fonseca, you're not doing a bad job. Don't worry. The time.
You're not doing a bad job.
All right.
You're just saying this because you met him preseason,
doing
right?
it.
No, I like Fonseca.
Go on, Pete.
No,
Go
how,
on,
I,
Pete.
how I see it, this game, he was very cautious. He wanted to make sure that he didn't lose. Ultimately,
Motta
Fonseca as
Fonseca.
well.
Milan.
Fonseca as well.
We're
Even
talking
in his,
about
in his-
Milan.
even in his subs and the players that he put in, the timing and everything else, it showed that there was this cautious approach. I don't think that
to tie Juventus is such a drama. I think to tie Cagliari is the bigger issue. Because not only that's a team like Cagliari that would defend with, 10 men behind the ball, 11, everybody behind the ball, but you were able to score 3 goals. How do you allow Cagliari to score 3 goals? That's a serious lack of concentration.
Bigger issue.
There's, obviously we've discussed it over and over again. The defense, I know that they didn't spend a lot of money for Pavlovic and Emerson Royale, but 2 busts right now. Emerson Royale, he can't defend the cardboard box.
He's worse than Calabria.
He's terrible. So,
Thanks, Mike.
2 years ago, Maldini, got the sacking because he spent too much money for De Catalare, and look what De Catalare is doing. You have these 2 defenders that came in, and they're not serving a purpose to this Milan. So your market, you didn't do anything to
But my point to that, Pete, is that's a problem. We're 13 games into the Serie A season and plus the Champions League. That's the issue defensively. Your defenders are not good. And you're still trying to play this high line and this high-pressing football. That's not a high press, and you leave yourself exposed. So how can you not adapt to the team that you have? That's what I don't get.
But listen, every coach has his own method behind him. So Fonseca is, if he's gonna live and die by his way of playing, and that's how he's going to approach every game.
Don't even press.
I get it. Well,
that's the part that I don't comprehend.
Listen, I don't know. He mentions that in the locker room they're all happy that they're training and stuff like that. But how we see it from here, Leao is a problem. Theo Hernandez is a problem. There was already some episodes, him not playing his guy. So, it's not to create, like I said, it's not to create this drama, but the way that they've played, it's kind of been up and down compared to where they not necessarily where they should be, because ultimately, even for me, Milan was never going to win the Scudetto. I know Antonio said Milan was going to win the Scudetto.
We're talking about being in the top 4 right now.
Yeah.
They're far away from that. What do you think tactically, from what I'm saying? What do you make of how Milan look tactically? Are you surprised that they play naive, or?
The problem is Fonseca. Okay? The problem is Fonseca. That's number 1.
God,
number 2, the problem is Ibrahimovic. And number 3, the problem is Dirigente up there. Okay?
We're on the cloud?
He does not adapt this Fonseca. But even the substitutions that he makes, they don't make any sense. I mean, to me, that is the problem. Remember when we saw that game at the preseason? I thought that he had a clear idea. I thought he was going to do. He doesn't do that anymore. He did it in the preseason a couple of times, and he doesn't do it anymore. He looks very confused in the way he coaches this team.
If a team doesn't take the game to Milan doesn't have a solution.
It's just with Milan, you never know what you're going to get. You're going to get that game against Real Madrid, or then you're going to get the game against Cagliari. You never know when Milan play what's going to happen.
But you know why, though, Mike?
Which team they're going to show. And that's based on the coach. That's strictly based on the coach.
Wow.
No, but you know what it
What
is?
a crew.
It's no. But like, hold on.
You guys
tactically,
spoke
no.
But about
guys, 1 second.
bashing Fonseca.
Listen,
wow.
we're saying the truth.
Well
But tactically,
prepared, well
Mike,
done,
in
guys.
those 2 games that you just talked about, Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, what are they going to do? They're going to be the ones that have more possession of the ball. They're going to be the ones that press higher up on the pitch, so that Milan can play the way that Milan should be adapted to play, which is playing on the counter. Then when you play teams that can sit back, that's when Milan actually get hurt, against the Cagliari, against the Monza, against
the low block, against
Juventus,
low block teams.
whatever it is. And that's my thing is, how do you keep falling into that trap? And I'm scared that he's not finding the solutions to it.
He's not.
That's my biggest issue.
It's almost the
And
same.
I think they have more quality than what they're showing this season.
Listen, first of all, we have players that they have the capability to break through into this kind of a really boring,
Low block
defensive football. But they are afraid to take their chances because they do not have the cojones, put it this way, to make mistakes.
And why is that?
Because don't be afraid
Who
of
does it?
making mistakes. I don't make
The
me make
players, you're
names.
saying.
Or you're saying defenders? The
No,
defenders?
the offensive
attackers,
line
Okay.
that we have.
attackers.
You have to make, let's take 10 chances, maybe 2 or 3 out of 10 can spell a lot of goodness for your team. You go through 2-3 times, 3 out of 10, it's can be a lot of trouble for the opposition. But when you don't do it, that's the problem. There are games that they do it, even against low block teams, and there are games that they don't do it. Maybe you have to start demanding that they actually take the chance and make a mistake. The coach has to be able to tell some of those players and top guys, I said, hey, you have the quality, you have the physical characteristic, you have the brain, just do it. Don't worry about mistake. Go 10 times.
So you agree with us though? It lies on the coach. That's
well,
But you're not gonna outscore your teams. You're not gonna outscore every game. If you're defending that way, you're always gonna get picked apart as a club. You're always going to. So yes, you want to play on that front foot, but if you don't have the defenders and to play that style, well, you're gonna end every game 3-2.
Look at the Cagliari.
Listen, the best defense is your offense, okay? When you're offending and you are putting the team on their back, the opposition team on their back, it's very difficult for them to score. So it's the midfield. I will say that the solution, I'm not a coach, but this is the way I see it. We need that extra midfielder. That one is gonna be on the back like a cleanup, the former stopper.
In front of the defense.
Right. And the other two that they're going to be more
Fonseca said he
offensive.
can't play a 3. He doesn't want to do the 4-3-3.
I
He
like
doesn't
that
but
line.
he's-
I just
he
like
had an
it.
argument
But you're
with
going against,
was it Boban? He had an argument with Boban. No, on Sky, where Boban said this team, who Boban is the one who won the last Scudetto for Milan. He said you need to play a 3-man midfield. I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying.
I love
Napoli would have been
that.
nice in that midfield.
But that's not happening. Let's talk about Juventus for a second as well. Again, without Vlahovic, there's nobody else on this team that wants to score
No
goals.
excuses, please.
No,
Don't
hold
bring
on, hold on, hold on.
Vlahovic didn't do crap in the last few games too.
He's
He's
the
what?
only person that scored. He's the only person that scored. And every player that's tried to replace him who's come into any matches, every single striker, and this is a stat, Tutto Sport put it today, every striker who's come in to replace him has not even taken one shot on target. That's a problem. And Juventus made a big mistake over the summer, and I think we all talked about it here, where Milik, we knew Milik was injured. Since June, we knew Milik was injured. We didn't know it was going to be this long. They made a bet thinking that he could come back, and you have to say the truth. Giuntoli made a big mistake for a team like Juventus that everyone's talking about competing for the Scudetto, one of the favorites to go there, back into the Champions League to play at a competitive level. You can't go into a season with just Dusan Vlahovic as your 9. And if you check the average positioning of the players, and I could show you guys a screenshot of it, you see an entire hole in the number 9. It's just Koop Miners and McKennie like this. Just a block of 6 midfielders and no striker.
I expected, with the absence of Vlahovic, it is tough because he does, even though a lot of people say, he misses some chances, he also produces a lot regardless.
Cool.
And he creates his own, Vlahovic. But I expected Yildiz to do a little bit more, especially on Milan's right side of the defense. And it was just not just him specifically, but it was lackluster all around. Milan's attack and Juventus's attack. It seemed like they were just both content with the draw and not losing. I don't know.
But I think for Juventus, a point away from home with missing your players is a good result.
Yeah, no, it is.
I think it is a good
before
result.
the match. But if you go into the match, you'd be like, okay, maybe it was a good. But they were both toothless, so maybe they weren't giving enough because they didn't want to sacrifice in defense. I mean,
Are you happy the way Juventus play?
I don't think that they've hit the strides that they should yet, but I think you have to evaluate teams in a moment. And it's a tough moment for Juventus. They got another clean sheet, 10 clean sheets in 13 games.
Who cares?
What do you mean who cares?
Who cares about the clean sheets? Listen, the clean sheets are not going to make you win anything. You're not going to win the Campionato. You're not going to go far in the Champions League. The clean sheet doesn't mean crap anymore. Okay? So before, wait.
Let me tell you something about the clean sheet. Then you can continue. Since you love stats.
Yeah. I don't like stats.
If you look at the 5 top campionato of Europe, Premier, La Liga, you know who wins always the number 1, the Scudetto, or the one with less goals.
Who's got the
almost all the time?
Who's got the best defense so far?
Almost all the time.
Who's got the best defense?
I just said Juventus have 10 clean sheets in 13 games.
Okay, this is I'm talking about the top 5 campionato of Europe.
Where's the fuse goals?
Juventus, the number 1. Napoli's number 2.
Napoli's on top of Juventus. How come? They don't have the best defense?
Anto.
What?
38 games.
It's only 2 goals.
Hello?
And
2 goals different?
2 goals in that.
Who's got more goals?
It's not
Italy,
about
Milan
now,
or
or
Juventus?
Juventus by 1.
They have more goals than
No,
us.
but
AC
Juventus
Milan?
played more games than Milan.
Hello,
We
thank
played
you.
one more.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
We played
Okay.
one more game.
So I don't know. Atalanta.
Go ahead,
About
continue.
Atalanta.
Atalanta has the most
Atalanta-
goals in the league. They have 34 goals.
Okay, and I don't think they have the best defense either.
No.
No.
Okay.
They're not in first
So,
place.
all of those stats, forget about the best five championship.
You
and all
said
that
the
stuff.
clean sheets don't mean anything.
They don't.
I'm just telling you the five top campionato.
This is a new
The team
era
that
of
wins is always the one with
of
less
clean
goals.
sheets.
That gets less goals.
Paisa. This is the new era of soccer. È la nuova generazione.
Yeah, but there has to be a
okay?
balance. I agree with you that you can't play like Allegri's team. For me, Allegri and Thiago Motta's teams are very different.
Don't bring the stats, the possession, all of this. How many pass completed? How many incompleted? How many semi-completed?
How many losses in a
I mean,
season?
They don't mean
Clean
SHIT.
sheets. Clean
Okay?
sheet.
Clean sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't clean sheet. They don't mean shit.
Okay.
Okay. So what
right,
I'm
shall we
saying
move
is,
on?
Make your point.
We
Go
wasted
ahead.
too much time
my
on this.
point is,
Make your point.
you keep tying the game, you're gonna find yourself almost in relegation.
I don't know about that. I don't know about
Now you
that.
lost it.
That's mathematically
All right.
incorrect.
How many margaritas?
Give the hat back.
Yeah.
Let's
Give the hat
Anyway,
back.
the last thing about Juventus, because somebody has got to be blamed for it, and I think Giuntoli has got he didn't plan the right way. He spent 100 millions on midfielders and 50 on Luis, whatever his name is.
Douglas Luiz and
Douglas
Douglas
Luiz.
Luiz.
And they did not get another center forward. And the most important position in football is a forward, especially a center. That's the most important position out of all of them.
Yeah.
And they got rid of Chiesa too. What you say it? They got rid of Chiesa.
I'm talking about the center forward.
best player of
I'm
AC
talking about
of
center
AC Milan,
forward.
the best player of the Italian national team is sitting on his ass watching Liverpool playing.
Well, you can
and
say
here
that
we
they
are.
gave
not
away
healthy.
Moise Kean.
He's not
Okay,
15
Moise
million.
Kean. Hello,
They gave away
thanks.
Moise Kean, who's at Juventus,
Thank
who's at
you.
Fiorentina doing
Moise
really well.
Kean.
And
Chiesa.
the deal, looking back in time, doesn't look great because
Yeah.
they have a 13 million, I believe, option to buy, and he's got 9 goals on the season. Let's talk about other things. Can Atalanta win Serie A?
Yes.
We just mentioned the amount of goals that they
Yes.
scored. You hate stats, but I have a pretty crazy stat.
I don't. I mean,
Okay, Anto. This guy's
excited
he's on
today.
one today. What
Mike
was in
came-
your
I gave him
call?
a
hat.
Mike gave me an espresso.
Oh.
Blame
You
it on
asked
him.
for it. You asked for it. Maybe I'll tell you not to
All right,
have it
let-
next time.
hey.
So, any team who has scored over 32 goals in their first 13 matches, 6 out of the 7 who have done that have finished in the top 2 in Serie A. I don't think anyone here had Atalanta in their top 2 coming
No.
into the season.
No.
They've scored 34 goals in those 13 matches. And the thing that looks so good about Atalanta, the thing that my mind almost hurts thinking about the amount of combination plays that they have. And you look at the 3 goals that they score even this weekend. Bellanova to Retegui, Cuadrado to Lookman, CDK to Ederson, whoever it is. There's so many different combinations that I don't know where the goals are going to come from. And I don't know how you stop them. The only Achilles heel I could see for Atalanta, if they don't win the Scudetto, is they have to manage in all these competitions. And sometimes defensively, they've been a little bit weak in the back in terms of De Roon has had to slot in. They haven't always had everybody available. But then you see Scalvini come back miraculously. Under less than 6 months, he's already returned from his ACL. Do you think Atalanta can win the Serie A?
So out of the top 6 teams, 5 teams right now with 1 point, the one that I would not be surprised that they can win the Scudetto, it would be Atalanta. The other teams, a few of the other teams, they're there, but I don't know how long they're going to be there. But Atalanta, they've been trying, and it's no surprise to any of us. I mean, they're playing beautiful football. Gasperini is doing a great job with players that don't do well in other teams. They go to him, and he has a way to develop and let them play and get the best out of it. That's what a coach should do. So, no, I would not be surprised.
Pete?
I agree with Gaetano. I mean, it's a team that won the Europa League and beat a team that didn't lose a game in a whole season
Leverkusen.
and do it in such a dominating fashion. So I think they have also a confidence level. Again, they were able to maintain their top players. Lukman, who was supposed to be going, is now a catalyst on this team. They moved quickly when everybody thought, oh, shoot, Scamacca's injured. They went after Retegui the next day.
Great point.
So they
They
showed...
Cup minors.
Yeah, even by selling Coop Miners, they were still able to, make other decisions and keep the team playing at a top level. And we still don't know, can Zaniolo become a January signing in a sense? So
Galliani quote right there.
yeah. So these are all things that trend upwards. Now, what I would say is, does ownership double down on this? Because that's what it's going to come down to.
Do you think they will?
Atalanta's going to be there in January. Like Gaetano said, I don't know about Lazio, Fiorentina. They could be. But I think Atalanta
What do you think
is
they
going
need?
to be there.
Because nothing in attack.
Defense.
Yeah.
They need to get a center back. If they can get a stellar center back, they make things very, very interesting. And especially, like you said, Scalvini coming back, even though I don't like to rush a ACL
Me too.
injury. So I think, hopefully he's being monitored by top doctors and whatnot. But, if he comes back, now all of a sudden, this Atalanta team is scary. And, who knows what can happen. I think, Juventus with Thiago Motta,
They're not going to win the Scudetto.
they have a pass, I guess. And then also at the same time, they kind of have this up and down.
I would be less surprised if Atalanta won the Scudetto than Juventus.
No, come on.
I would be.
Juventus don't even bring Juventus on the equation.
Do you know that's exactly what I just said?
Yes.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yes.
I think.
But
I
don't
would,
bring Juventus on even the top 5.
He just mentioned Juventus.
Okay, I'm
And
going
he just
through
said no.
I'm going through the teams.
Go ahead.
Napoli, obviously, with the Conte effect, and I'm sure we'll talk about it later. He's going to get the most out of his players.
Have the Fonseca effect.
Inter with Inzaghi, I mean, we've dropped some points. We'll see. I think this Hellas Verona game was just a
fluke.
strike of lightning in
okay,
the sense. So we'll see. But the game versus Juventus and other games that we've dropped points here and there, important that they're there, but it might be a year where Inter can slip, and those two teams, Atalanta and Napoli, are ready to take it.
So the question's not would you be surprised if Atalanta won, because I think all of us sitting here all said we would not be surprised. It would not be something crazy. I would be surprised if Fiorentina or Lazio won.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I could see I don't think it's going to happen, but I could see a scenario. Do you see a scenario where
Yes.
Atalanta win the Scudetto?
Yes.
Mike, you're making a face?
I mean, they have what it. I think they have. I wouldn't say I'd be surprised if they win. I mean, I'd be more on the surprise side than not surprised, because we know Atalanta the past few years. We know they're a great team. They manage to even if they sell players, they manage to get players, and they play incredible football. We know that it's nothing new, but whenever came time to when it really matters, I feel like they fall short in some kind of aspect. And do I think this
Not
season
last year.
could be? What's up?
Not last year.
What do you mean?
You saying when it mattered? They did it against Liverpool.
I
they did it against.
meant strictly Scudetto reasons.
And just in
Scudetto,
Serie A.
Scudetto's a different. It's a marathon. It's not it's not just one game off. And I just feel like I don't know if Gasperini has what it takes. If he has enough experience to really
No, he's got experience. You don't
to
think-
win the Scudetto.
I don't think it's an
different.
experience thing.
To win a Scudetto and to win in Europe is different, because there's less games in Europe. It's easier to motivate in Europe because they're shorter, they're quicker games, one-off knockouts, blah blah blah. And Serie A is more of like continuous.
Yeah, but Mike,
they did start off bad, but they caught up, which is very good from the beginning of the season. But I do feel like they're gonna find those speed bumps that are gonna derail them, and I just don't think they're in the top. Like I would say a Napoli or Juventus closer. I put them closer to win the Scudetto.
Again, still
And
Juventus?
Inter obviously
Juventus still closer to win the Scudetto?
than Atalanta. I think
Mike,
so.
are you okay?
Most
that's
people
what
would
I
agree
think
with
so.
that.
Just 'cause
Most
I-
people would
Just
agree.
because I know, I feel like I've seen enough Atalanta to know that they're like any match they can thrash you, but in the long run, I feel like that might be their Achilles heel as of now, from what I've seen.
I don't agree on the experience aspect.
Okay, that's
I disagree with that, because I think that's also the narrative that everyone was saying around them last year when they were in the Europa League, and there was a whole famous thing, Gasperini's not a winner. Meanwhile, everything that he's done with this club has been a win. This is before 2016, they were a team from Serie B, and then he made them believers. He got into Champions League football. So I don't think it's an experience. I think it's just more of a duration of a season and balancing Champions League football where they still haven't conceded a goal. I know we've said so much about defensively. Them and Inter are the only teams to not concede a goal in Champions League, which is remarkable. They played against Arsenal where they should have beaten Arsenal. If Retegui could score his penalty kick, they played a much better game than them. So how do you balance both of them? I think if Atalanta today decided we're going to go all in on the Serie A, I see them going and winning the league.
You know why you're right about that? I'll tell you the reasons why you're right. Because this year, Atalanta has a deep bench. It's not Samardich comes off the bench. Retegui, Cuadrado. Retegui, if Scamacca plays, can sit.
He's out for the
I
season.
know. I said if Scamacca comes back and Retegui gets to sit, both of them are very interchangeable. Retegui is one of the best scorers that we have right now in Serie A and in the Italian
12
national
goals
team.
in 13 games.
Listen,
Don't
guys.
forget Zaniolo.
Zaniolo. Mike, I don't know why you're laughing about Zaniolo. Zaniolo, if you put him on the right position
What's
to
the right
succeed-
position?
Well, coming from
The right bench.
Tell Gasper, give him a call because he needs to know too. If you find out the solution of that.
You're laughing about
But whatever.
it?
Zaniolo's not going to be the difference between winning a Scudetto and not winning a Scudetto.
Exactly.
Watch, he scores the winning goal.
They have a bench. They
Not
have a-
defensively, though, right?
Maybe defensively, but they're not conceding a lot
Yeah,
of
they are.
goals.
The top
I
10
mean-
teams, they're the second most team that received
They
the
conceded
goals.
3 goals to Como.
That's a
They
stat for
scored-
you.
When they
they
lost
I
again.
know that was a big. That was the only
Any
game
defense,
that
they
they
need
did.
to defend.
I think
that-
I think they need a defender. In
This
the
is-
beginning of the season, remember everyone was so upset with Atalanta? The way
Defenders.
it was Derun was
Yeah,
kept
he's
slotting
playing
in, and he
center
could do a
back.
remarkable job. Nothing against him, but
He's
he's
not a
not a
center
natural center back. And for a team that wants to compete in all these different competitions, I think that's the place that you need to
If
reinforce.
Scalvini has fully recovered from his injury and that you had not even a top center, Atalanta is definitely going to be contending for the first 2 places.
It's a really exciting year. Let me ask you one other team that I think is doing remarkable. Fiorentina. We already mentioned them, right? What they're doing is special. And they haven't always looked brilliant in all their games, yet they're still getting results, which is something we always say is the sign of a really strong team. And I think that was evident even this weekend. Look at Adli getting involved in goals. Never saw him score a goal for Milan, and now he's got 2 goals for Fiorentina.
Adli played well on AC Milan, by the way.
Beltran has been a lot more involved in the play for Fiorentina. It seems like in the beginning, everyone was saying Palladino doesn't like him. He's playing him as a 10, basically, like a second striker, and he's got that layoff for Adli. And everything is clicking. Even Moise Kean, he's not playing the best game of his life. He's still involved in scoring a goal. De Gea is remarkable. You got
Triple
a really
save.
solid goalkeeper. You got young players in defense. Comuzzo, Ranieri's back into the mix. The midfield is playing brilliantly. What is the ceiling for Fiorentina? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to say that my friend Daniele Prade did a great job with Alessandro. They got a new coach. They got new players. And some of these players are really good. And I don't know why the other teams gave up on them, but they're doing very good. Fiorentina, they're playing Inter this weekend.
Oof.
If Fiorentina does well, then the game after that, I think, is Cagliari. You know, if they beat Inter in Florence, this team is going to be in the top 3 for a long time.
But beating
Top
Inter,
4.
beating
Really?
Inter is
What's
beating
wrong
Inter.
with-
Top
What's
4.
Inter? What's Inter?
But
What's beating
it's
Inter?
the
Beating Inter.
big
That would be
game
big
is
for
to
Fiorentina.
see how they react
What's
to
beating Inter?
a big team
9 points of Milan is beating.
this weekend. I don't know if the game is Saturday or Sunday, but I think this is a really nice to see
Sunday.
The level,
Sunday
the real level.
to see the level.
That's a
Hey,
good point.
where are we?
Yeah.
Because they're playing good, and they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
And Goodmanson is not even there yet.
Yeah, true.
So Sunday.
Listen, Fiorentina.
After Sunday, I will
And
Fiorentina-
that's also holding them to a very high expectation.
Yes.
You're saying to finish in the top. Even if they do lose to Inter, it doesn't mean. I mean, their season could still be a very good season.
Marco, Fiorentina has got a bunch of players. First of all, congratulations, like you said, to Prade and Commisso for the mercato that they did. Fiorentina's got a lot of players with a chip on the shoulder that they dare to demonstrate that whoever had them before on the former team, they made a huge mistake. Keane is one of them. Adel is another one. Gosens is another one. Who else came in?
De Gea.
Huh?
De Gea, Bove,
De Gea,
Cataldi.
De Gea,
There's a lot.
we thought it was about to retire. Cataldi from Lazio.
He basically did retire. He had
So
no team.
those are all players with a chip on the shoulder that they dare to just First of all, I like the way they play. The style is a beautiful soccer to watch. And they are there to demonstrate that whichever decision the former team has made on them to let them go, it was a big mistake. And they're playing with that intensity and that drive that I think is going to spell a lot of trouble for some of the contenders, the pretenders or the contenders. I don't know how you want to call it on the past. You know,
I think with Fiorentina, what's I guess a good point of what they've done now compared to in the past is that they've gone after players that have Serie A experience, which is important when you talk about new players coming in.
That's a good point.
You know the league, you know how to prepare for the league. Then we're talking about a phenom, I guess, with Palladino, because this is a guy that came from the Primavera of Monza, and two geniuses, of football, the one late Silvio Berlusconi and Galliani, were the ones to say this guy is the real deal and bring him up to the first team. That Monza team with Stroppa were bound for Serie B, but easily, and he was able to keep them up and play a certain way of football. And the second year, do it again. So similar to Italiano, similar to Thiago Motta with Spezia, who were bound for Serie B, able to keep these guys up and compete. And he's finally got the players that he wanted, because I know you did something with Keane and CBS, but I know Palladino wanted Keane for Monza last year.
He said he was calling him all last year.
He wanted him for Monza. Just wasn't able to get it, the financial means. So you can tell also Palladino, even by going to a Fiorentina, he has concrete ideas of how he wants his team to play and what type of player he wants. And, as you said, these players all have a chip on their shoulder. They're all ready to show. And, whether they, lose to Inter, it doesn't make a real difference I think on this team. Obviously, if they win, it's going to be
better.
Well, it's better for you.
Right. No, it's better. No, it's better for Fiorentina.
I would think
obviously.
It's not good for you.
But what I was getting at is that if they win versus Inter, then you say, wow, this team is serious.
Do you
and
think he had a bigger impact than Italiano for the first season, you think? Or they were kind of similar styles, and how he just came out of nowhere and just immediately started doing good? Maybe the expectations weren't as high?
I think it's similar. I think you can say expectations. I think he also inherited a little bit better team in a sense, where they've already gone deep into the Conference League for a while. There's already a structure. The people that are there have been there for a while. So, you have a lot. Also, when you want to go after players, you go see the Viola Park. Like, I don't know any player that would refuse to be able to train there every day. So, you have everything kind of ready for you to win. You have everything ready for you to be part of something. So, Italiano, I think his stubbornness causes his disarray and his problems.
But it also created something that Fiorentina didn't experience in forever.
Correct.
They went to Coppa Italia final and Conference League final, and he made them competitive in those years, which I think that Fiorentina side should not have been in those finals.
No.
They shouldn't have competed, and they were always missing that little step, because I remember we were here in January saying, sign a striker. He had no striker.
Yeah.
They got rid of Dusan Vlahovic. They got Cabal. They got Jovic. They got Enzola. They got all these guys. He never had a striker. Palladino got the striker that he needed. Another guy I want to throw in there that you reminded me when you said Palladino, just to go on record now and say, Gilardino is going to be another one of those guys that everyone's sleeping on, that Genoa thinks it's a good idea to sack Gilardino, that Vieira is going to be the one to solve the situation. I see the same thing in Gilardino. A little bit more pragmatic. He could wait. He adapts. His team always plays good football. He overachieved with that Genoa side. The first year that they came up, they could have built a really good thing. Then you sold all the players. You sold Martinez, the goalkeeper. You sold Retegui. You sold Gudmundsson. They accounted for 68% of your goals the following season. Just to throw it out there.
Can I throw out another name?
Go.
Baroni.
Baroni.
Okay. From 1 to 10, what do you give Baroni?
Right now, as a score, I'll give him an A+.
1 to 10, A+.
I didn't give him 9, but I gave him a plus.
Did you know?
8 or A?
No, he said 1 to 10.
From 1 to 10, what
said
would you
8
give?
plus.
8.
I think
Not
it
A+.
changed it. I think it changed.
8
Aldo, you didn't change it,
plus.
right?
No.
You're not lying, right?
Let me run through some stats with Baroni.
Here we go, the
They're,
stats, guys.
they're the most improved team from last year to this year. 11 points more than at this point last season. First place in the Europa League, alone at the table. 1 point off of first. 11 wins in their last 12. And they're another one that's playing exciting football. Really exciting football. And had a mercato that we all sat here and didn't give Lazio a chance. We thought that they made mistakes in some of the decisions that they did. And I think there are other ones that have a chip on their shoulder. There's a couple of those guys. Tati Castellanos, he sat behind Immobile for a while. I questioned him for sure. I didn't think that he would be up to par. And there's a few other guys within that Lazio side that have
Listen,
come
I
up
was watching the
6
game.
years old.
I like
What?
Pedro, who's 100 years
37,
old.
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the most
Dia,
informed.
Bolaya Dia, Noslin.
37.
Yeah, that's.
Listen,
how many players are
Guendouzi stepped up.
retired by then?
Rovella.
What
Juventus
about-
gave away
what
Rovella,
about
and now they don't
Gila?
have a
What
guy
about
like him.
Gila, whatever is his
Gila,
name.
yeah.
Oh my God, man. This
he's
guy
not great.
here, it's all over the place. It's always on the center of the maneuver. You see it coming back, taking the ball. Just always demanding the ball, distributing. Sometimes it's the last guy, even though it's a midfielder. It's all the time the last guy. Getting the ball and starting trouble again. I like the style of this guy here, Baroni. I gave him an 8 plus, not an 8 plus, 8.
But there's no such thing as an 8+, so that's why I know you're lying.
AEGIH plus,
There's
8
a number
plus.
with a plus at the end.
Oh my God, Mike! I thought you were my
But,
friend,
but
Mike.
regardless, in Europe too, he's doing incredible there, and he's rotating players, which quote unquote don't want to say Sarri didn't do and didn't go anywhere near the performance or results of Baroni. So I definitely was extremely skeptical of Lazio this season. I was like, there's gonna be another write-off season where it's not gonna do good, but they're proving so
Can
many
you
people
imagine
wrong.
Luis Alberto Anderson? and
Felipe
all those
Anderson,
guys?
that's right. None of those guys.
I thought Baroni would do well. I
Not
just
like
didn't
this?
think
Yeah.
that he would be this hot. Let's
Yeah,
say.
it's incredible.
You know what?
Because
Let's
he's
wait
a
and
very-
see.
He's a very good coach.
Pete,
We're
let's
just-
wait and
we're
see.
just
Let's wait
judging
until
things-
Christmas. Let's
Yeah,
wait
but
until
I mean,
Panettone.
we're
The
kinda close
Panettone.
We're
to
talking
Christmas.
now.
Yeah,
But
no,
up-
no. I
talk
said
about
8.
them.
So that's why I gave him an 8 plus.
But up into-
because
up into
Christmas
this-
is not here. Once Christmas and the Panettone has been trimmed and cut it,
And what do you give him?
okay,
9?
we will
10?
see. Let's right now the
A 9
Panettone.
plus.
Right now the Panettone is still on the box, so we have to just open the box first.
We have to judge things the way that they are from what we've seen so far. And your boy Gila, he said something interesting, gave an interesting interview saying that with Sarri, it was a lot more difficult and it was a lot more meticulous and a little bit boring. And he said that Baroni reminds him of Ancelotti in the freedom that he's given to the players and their enjoyment, and even simple stuff like the human element of giving them off on certain times when they want to be off. And I think that sometimes, not all the time, obviously we're not in the locker room, we not able to tell, but sometimes there is a group that just needs that. They need that little bit of freedom so that they could click
Express
and connect, and
themselves on the field.
it's something beautiful to see, and they have a character. I love the spirit of the team. They're one of the most fun teams to watch. We had other interesting news this weekend, and we'll find out apparently on Wednesday if it's true or not, but they're saying that Alessandro Del Piero wants to be president of the Italian Federation, the FIGC, and replace Gravina. According to a lot of the rumors, he'll announce it on Wednesday if he will or if he will not. You have to announce it by December 25th is the last date, and then the elections are on February 3rd. The rumor is that a lot of the Serie A clubs who have been at war with the Italian Federation, there's big disagreements there, say that they will support Del Piero, and Lotito is the one that's pushing Del Piero to do
that's
it
great.
because he'd be a unifying figure. Pete, you're very deep into this world. You know a lot of the ins and outs. What do you think about it?
No, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I know Serie A, what they want to have more power, similar to the American sports. How, you don't have the Basketball Association of the U.S. making decisions. It's the NBA that makes decisions. So, Serie A want to have more power in how football and the rules and regulations affect football in Italy. I think, obviously, if you're a Serie A team, you want that power. I think we have to also look at it from a more global view to say, listen, in soccer, there's more than just Serie A when it comes to Italy. You have to look out even for the lower level teams and the amateur teams. So, Del Piero, I think, would be a very, interesting but also good choice there because he has the experience as a player. He's well-spoken. He's a very serious person, even when he wants to, explain something or be able, he's thorough, you can tell. So I think with the Del Piero there, it will obviously make things easier for Serie A, I guess, to get behind him, but also to understand that when you're the FIGC president, you have a duty not just to Serie A, but to the whole soccer system in Italy.
That's a good point. The thing that obviously we don't know what his ideas are, what he's going to do, and that will be important, of course. But I think the thing that I like with Del Piero is that I feel like there's somebody with integrity that really just wants the best. And unfortunately, in Italy, I can't always say that I have that same belief with other people in charge. And I remember always Roberto Baggio saying that he wrote a huge piece on what he would do to reform a lot of the youth systems and the Italian Federation. And it was sort of guys that really don't care and probably have their hands in other pockets that didn't want to listen to what Roberto Baggio had to say. And for me, if you're not listening to Roberto Baggio, there's something very wrong. And I think Del Piero is a very level-headed person in the way that he's always spoken and carried himself in such a professional way that he can take into consideration all those things. And it's a unifying figure that we probably need.
Guys, let's just put it this way.
And just really quickly,
Go ahead,
we're
Mike.
probably going to see more Azzurri friendlies in LA if he does get appointed.
He's in Madrid now.
That's why his son
But
plays for the
he also
youth,
has a
right?
house in LA, right? He
Listen,
goes back and forth.
Yeah, I think he's primarily there. And his daughter's playing in Turin now.
Yeah?
Yeah, she's on
wow.
Juventus.
So listen, guys, put it this way. Gravina, Del Piero. First of all,
What did you just do?
What was that?
Put them side by side?
Gravina never played soccer.
Did you mean this and this?
Yeah, I mean,
He did side.
no,
and
you
side.
have to choose. I mean, no,
Oh, he's saying
just
A
the
and B.
idea that Del Piero.
plus?
I mean, this is
A
not
and
even a
plus.
choice. This is not a choice.
It's not your choice.
Del Piero 100%. Actually, Juventus is going to be the team regretting not signing him as a direttore sportivo, sporting director instead of Giuntoli. Anyway,
That's a
let's
whole-
go.
Very
Let's go.
different.
That's a
Very
whole
different.
Let's go.
Very
Let's go to the. Let me just finish my thought.
Why don't you
Gravina-
finish?
Gravina got nothing to do with soccer. He has never won anything. Del Piero is a world champion, world soccer champion. He won with the Italian national team. He won with Juventus. He won in Europe. He won everywhere. So why do we have to just think about it? Just let's vote him in right now. Let's not wait until January. Forget about it. February. He's
What do you think,
in.
Dad?
He's in.
So Del Piero has been around the world, not only in Italy, but he went also outside of Italy, Australia. He lived in United States.
India.
So
India.
So he can bring some new ideas.
It's a good
But I think I would like to see him president of Juventus.
No, too late. Too late. Too late. You got Giuntoli.
That's what well, he's not the president. That's what a
I
lot of
say
people wanted was
Yeah.
him there. But I actually think that it fits him really well. When I saw it,
Defense.
You
it made
whisper into the mic.
Into the mic.
He doesn't talk into the mic. When he's gonna go over there, he whispers.
when I saw it, I just looked at it and I said, all right, something feels right about that. It's sort of just like one of those things that clicks. And again,
Yeah, he's
we need to hear his ideas. We need to hear what he wants to do. But I do have a lot more belief in him. And unfortunately, with the voting system, though, I don't know if I know that you could say, all right, it's a clear choice, Gravina out and Alessandro Del Piero in. But with the way that these guys get voted in, I don't know how secure of a vote it actually would be.
You are saying politically there is a lot of stuff more than
Yeah.
Read between the lines,
Yeah.
Anto.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Coalitions.
Guys, for people that they love soccer, that they really love the game, he's the right guy.
But we
So
don't
if you're
vote.
listening to this podcast,
It's not
but we're
people.
voting. We are people.
No, we're
that-
not.
No, listen, we are because we can influence. We can influence who's going to be
It's Serie
voting.
D, Serie B, Serie C, all them
Guys.
vote, right? And the crazy thing is that I was looking into it before. If Serie D, Serie C, and Serie B all decided that we're going to unify and do something together,
They're
they're going to
gonna
outvote
overpower.
Serie A, which for me doesn't really make that much sense. I get what you're saying that the lower leagues matter, but I mean, if I'm just reading,
But to be fair, with
in
all
the air,
the prior press conference, they all are against each other. So that's almost never
but
going to happen.
but what I mean is, I'm not saying this happens, but
Yeah.
it could be if you make sure that you take care of Serie D and Serie
Yeah,
C.
I get it,
all right,
but
all right.
it's
We
very
can
unlikely.
we could grab the votes, and you're gonna outvote Serie A, for example.
Yeah, I get it.
That it's kind of counterintuitive in my opinion.
We got friends in some of those lower divisions, so we can influence them.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Me.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Anything else?
The
Inter.
vent, too.
Inter.
5-0.
Man.
Come on.
Wow.
We talk about a snooze fest like Juventus Milan. We're not gonna talk about Inter.
That
5
was-
goals.
Correa.
That's where all the goals
Correa
came-
back
came from.
from the dead,
Correa.
like the Undertaker. Come on.
Tuco, Turam.
Now we're
Correa.
able to sell him.
That's all he cares about.
I mean, Verona, that was embarrassing.
Thuram.
That display. Oh my God.
Thuram.
How does he score? I've never seen a player score 2 back-to-back goals rounding the keeper. I haven't seen that forever.
That was
All 3 are center backs. Bastoni gets the assist. De Vrij scores like a number 9. Juventus could have used him.
Bisek.
And then Bisek scores the 3rd
That
goal.
was
The
crazy.
wonder goal.
That was too many goals.
You guys gonna be using Skriniar soon. I heard that you guys are on the market looking for another defender.
Atalanta should sign Skriniar.
I would like that.
I think AC Milan
Atalanta
should sign Skriniar.
You guys have
Maybe you
bigger
should sign
problems.
Kalulu.
No. You keep Kalulu. Kalulu did very well the first year. Now it's going to become your problem to teach him how to play soccer.
We'll take those
Once you're
problems.
done, you're gone.
Anything on Roma?
Oh yeah.
Roma.
Listen, Roma,
they played Napoli.
they played well. They played
They
well.
played well?
They play
They
well.
defended.
They
I
took
mean,
one shot in the first half.
Well,
One shot.
Juventus doesn't play well.
How you play
Plays
well when you
Don't
take one
be-
shot?
Don't hit the crossbar. Off target.
I mean, that's the only thing
crossbar.
that they did.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
But also, what do we expect from
No,
Ranieri?
I mean, well, after
In
1
one
week,
day.
He
10
went back.
days.
He went
It's
back
one
to the
game.
basics. He
Yeah.
said, "All right, let's lose a little comfortably. Let's keep it tight. 4-4-2. You know, track your runners.
It wasn't horrible at all.
Be a little bit more. Everyone knew what their role
Napoli
was.
had some chances at the end of the day, but
You knew Napoli was going to score.
you knew Napoli was.
You knew it was going to come one way or another. You knew Napoli was going to.
It's too early to
back
say.
and win.
anything.
Listen,
Listen, let's not
Roma-
amplify what Roma didn't do, because Ranieri arrives over there the day before. He still has
Yeah,
the jacket. He still has he has the luggage
Jet
on his
lag,
hand.
jet lag.
He still has the luggage on his hand.
What were you
It's-
thinking? What were your thoughts then? Since you brought it up. About Roma.
Roma. No, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, this team is a flat. It's a flat team. There's nobody with any cojones.
Oh,
There's
boy.
no character. There's no leadership. You know, the only one that excites is Dybala, but I don't think he's 100%. That's why he's not playing. Pellegrini, I would expect a lot more leadership, character. So it's a flat team, and I think maybe Ranieri is the right guy that he can try to because they are in very bad
They're
shape.
3 points off of
From
18th
relegation.
place relegation.
They're
So
3
maybe
points.
Ranieri's the right guy.
And the next
to avoid
game, you know who
relegation.
they play in the next game? Atalanta.
Oh, mamma mia.
They're playing Atalanta.
Well,
Ranieri
they
came at the wrong time.
have Tottenham on Thursday, then Atalanta, and then it goes to
And Tottenham just
Lecce,
won
Braga,
4-0
Como.
against Manchester City.
Manchester City.
Oh,
So,
boy. Be a lot of
uh,
headaches.
Europa League is already a dud.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already made Europa League. They lost to Elfsberg.
So, if there's one guy that could take them out is Ranieri. So I hope that.
No, they're just gonna stay in Serie A. Then
Yeah.
I agree.
turn
with
the
you.
page.
I agree with you.
Oh, God.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Also, we didn't talk about. Oh, what were you gonna say? Where you point at Peter?
Highway Bagels.
That's right.
Can you tell the
Oh,
people?
That's right.
Give this a quick promo. We got to do
No,
this
they're
again.
up-
We got to run it
They're
back.
up again for best bagels in
Oh,
Brooklyn.
boy.
So
And
When
last
is
time
it?
they
Already 2
won.
times in a row.
When is the voting?
when is it? It starts already.
Oh,
Yeah, you already can vote. So
where
we'll put
can they vote?
They can
What is the
vote.
website? Can we run it at
We
the
can
bottom
run it on
of
the
the
bottom.
screen?
Sure,
Yeah, we
what's
can run
it?
it at the bottom.
What's the website?
I don't know what the website
I
is
don't.
exactly. but it's- we have the
www.highwayBagel.com.
We have the QR code and everything.
QR code? What is a
All
QR
right,
code?
we'll pop up the QR code. And for people that don't know, this is Peter's family's bagel shop. They're up for an award of best bagels in all of New York, or is it just Brooklyn?
That's
No,
Brooklyn.
all
It's best
America.
of Brooklyn. That's what it's
Best
called.
of Brooklyn. And we did this a couple years ago, and we helped you
right.
guys win.
Yeah.
Guys, go
was a
on,
big one.
vote. It'll take you like 2 seconds. I guarantee you, best bagels ever. If you ever voted and you go to the shop, tell them IFTV, and you're gonna get something.
That's
Guys, great bagels over there, amazing. But Peter, say the go-to bagel order for a New Yorker.
Ooh, bacon, egg, and cheese. No.
There we go.
What were we gonna say?
Listen.
I was gonna say you vote, but you got to go to the store and buy something. and taste it.
My dad's like, forget about free voting. Go buy something.
Guys, everything bagels, you got to do it.
Listen to me.
There we go.
I tried the bagel. I went into the bagel store. I ate the bagel.
You made the
I
bagels.
made the bagel.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm not getting from that bad.
I'll tell you. I know Lou Curto.
And stew.
No, you know Stu Gatz. But I know Lou, and I know your
He's the
uncle,
Alberto.
Alberto.
You didn't know the name. You didn't know the name.
I have Berettinizzato on my
That
on
place
my
gets
head.
an A+
Alright.
for sure.
So
Vote.
top of the line. Just I'm coming up with something on my own that I've been thinking about it. So you're gonna see it soon on my Instagram page.
We're
I thought you don't have
We're gonna
Instagram.
have him make more bagels
There we go.
Yes.
and then bring him to the studio.
So something is coming up. Do not disappoint me. I mean, you can disappoint those guys by just voting.
It'll be
But
the
don't
link in the
disappoint me
description for
because you're going to
everybody.
be voting. Every one of us. We're going to count all the followers that we have. We're going to count you guys one by one. We need.
Can you tell her where the bagel
Yes.
shop is?
Oh yeah, the address.
Yes, 1923 Kings Highway.
Kings
Brooklyn, New York.
Highway.
Check it out. Check
South
it out.
Brooklyn.
It's really good.
1923 and Kings Highway. It's Kings Highway and
Ocean Avenue.
Ocean Avenue.
Listen
Okay.
to me. One more thing you guys don't know. If by mistake you are on Avenue P, you can enter on Highway Bagel, not from Kings Highway, but from Avenue P. So this is how much I know. That I know the basement, I know the first floor, I know just about everything.
Just didn't remember his
It's an
uncle's name.
experience. It's an experience that you guys should go one-on-one and try the bagel.
And it's very famous.
Yeah.
It
very
is.
popular.
Since
Everybody knows.
1951, actually. The biggest
wow.
one. Yeah, it's been a while. So
And we're gonna win.
That's right.
There we go. And how long's the voting till? Do we know?
until the end of the year.
Got it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we
Yeah,
got
so
some
we
time.
got a little
We
time to
some
run
You
it up.
got plenty of time.
All right,
Awesome.
Mike,
And
you wanted to say?
I was gonna say the event. There was also
Yeah.
an event. Classic football shirts in Serie A did an amazing watch party for Milan Juventus. The event was much more interesting than the match, that's for sure. But then Atalanta Parma, it was good. Anto was there, Gaetano, everyone came. Peter, Enrico also
we were
came.
there.
Yeah.
There was free food, so obviously you guys showed up. But
A lot of people buying shirts.
I mean,
It was insane.
there was always a line of
It was
people buying
packed.
shirts.
It was packed.
It was standing room only. I mean, the food was fantastic. We had ribalta pizza.
Rosario was there.
Yeah,
We
Rosario was
had
there.
the
Sette
panettone, sette
Pane was
panettone.
there.
The
We had
focaccia was good.
the
Also.
focaccia. I mean, there was plenty of. They kept bringing more food.
Arancini,
Sounds like a good
salame, yo,
Coca-
It's a Serie A event. You had to have that.
Oh, Alessandro was very nice from Serie A. Excellent guy, of
It was
course.
good. There was a lot of IFTV fans. That
Yeah, I
came
met
up
the
also.
president there,
And
Yeah.
Andy.
And also shout out to Marino, big IFTV fan. He also does some social media for Serie A. Check him out. Calcio Culture. Calcio Culture. Yeah,
who
I
won?
hope
Who won the jersey?
There were so many giveaways. There was like 10 giveaways.
our
Mike, I
jersey.
didn't
Who
take
who
the
won
pi-
for
the
Mike?
tickets.
One guy
Was on
won
the line.
too.
Marino won.
One
it.
guy
Marino
won.
won?
Yes, Marino
One guy
won
won
it.
twice.
Mike,
Come
I didn't take the
on.
raffle when I got
How?
in. I walk inside
That's
of the
because
store.
you
I
got a
didn't take the
raffle when you
raffle.
walked
Those
in.
guys, they got
And then
it.
when you
got
bought
it.
something,
Oh
they
my
gave you
God,
a
they
raffle.
didn't tell me
And he won
anything,
both.
those guys.
And
I asked for the lotto.
And Gaetano and I,
oh no, that you say that. No, and the other thing is a lot of people came over to take pictures.
Yeah.
You know, they wanted. We recognize you from my
Gaetano,
FTV.
there was a
I thought
bigger
you're
line.
famous,
Can I
Gaetano.
take
Gaetano,
a
there was a
picture?
bigger line for you than to buy the jerseys over there. I was like,
Right.
oh, I can't even talk
Nice.
to you.
That's
right.
cool. It's cool to
Yeah,
see
it was
him
really nice.
in New York.
And by the way, Gaetano and me, we got the two original player shirts of Messi Argentina uniform. So now the plan is how we're gonna make Messi sign in the jersey. We have a lot of friends and we have a lot of connection over here.
We are willing to fly to Miami.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, in case they didn't know, right? In case
Oh,
they
you
didn't
wanted
know.
him to fly to New York?
Marco made a point that he will never make sure that my jersey will never be signed by Messi.
You're never getting that shirt signed
Yeah,
by Messi.
I got friends. I got news for you.
I'm telling you right now.
I got connection.
I'm never letting you get that shirt signed.
I
by
got
Messi.
connection.
And even if you do get it signed, I'm gonna steal that shirt.
Oh.
And it's gonna be mine.
Anto.
Yolanda, if you're watching this podcast, I'm gonna call you soon. Okay.
Okay.
So-
All right. That was fun. Good
That
stuff,
was
guys.
Very good.
Anything else?
I enjoyed
Highway
this.
bagel again. Highway
Highway
bagel.
bagels. Vote.
Vote
Vote.
for
Vote.
that.
Vote. Vote.
Actually,
Bacon,
you can,
egg, and cheese.
You can mail the vote. You can. How
No,
do you do
you
it?
have to go on the
It's
website.
online.
It's online.
Online
Okay, it's
only.
not
Mail it out.
You only have until the end of the year.
the end of the year. Okay, no mailing, Pete. Just
No.
online.
A little
Okay,
over.
we're gonna give you the website or the SKU code. What do you call that, Pete?
It's gonna be in the description.
Barcode. Whatever.
QR code.
QR code.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.
And Forza.
Bari e Forza Cassano.
And not Milan. Wow, you already forgot about Milan.
Of course.
Fonseca.
Fonseca, yes.